Obviously, I don't want to make my album available for a whole week prior to the release. This is just for those of you who decided to tune in. So I'm very grateful for that. And remember, stay tuned to the very end. Y'all are going to get a very special early gift. And while y'all are watching, man, if y'all know somebody who ain't doing nothing on their Saturday, man, hit them up and give them the link, man. Share that link around, get more people in this, and we're going to get it popping. I got the chat wide open, so if y'all have anything to say while we're cracking, you know, I'm not going to stop too much, but I'd love to answer questions here and there, and we got some Q&A on the back. So just to let y'all know the itinerary for tonight, it's real simple, man. We're going to get into this album. I'm going to talk about it real briefly, then we're going to play it. Track by track. I'm going to just give y'all a little preview of some process and a little backstory. Then we're going to go through the album, which is just 22 minutes. So it's a really quick play. And then after that, I'm going to show y'all where to get the album. We're going to do some quick Q&A if y'all have some. I'm going to give y'all my socials and where you can stay in tune for this next crazy week of rollout. And it's going to be an absolute movie, man. So again, shout outs to Kunle, DJ, Ruslan, Isaac, Verse, Berg, Dirty. We got all y'all in here. Sam, we're going to get it popping. So without further ado, man, as y'all know, I've been so hyped to get this album to y'all. It's called REM, and it's available next week on Friday at noon Eastern time. So pretty much wherever you are Friday, it's going to be made available to you. And I'm just dumb excited for y'all to hear this body of work. I know most rappers say this when they release new product, that they feel like it's their best, but I've truly excelled in the last couple years, mainly this last year, in terms of my quality of production. My mixing and mastering abilities have taken another level up. And just my musicality. One of the biggest things I did on this album that you guys will not hear on prior work is it's mostly singing. So that's something most cats are really familiar with me rapping my absolute butt off and doing my rapidy raps and really only doing the singing stuff for like my hooks and whatnot. But this album, you're going to be pleasantly surprised that I'm really getting in my auto-tune bag. I'm more on the natural side, so it's not as electronic, but I'm really just trying to tap into like a euphoric space to kind of bring some of my concepts to life. And so a lot of work went into this. This was kind of me jumping out of my comfort zone and really trying to refine a lot of the momentum I had off my last album, Sound of My Silence, which is available everywhere. And so, man, without further ado, man, I'm just so excited for y'all to hear this. Real quick, the album is called REM, and it refers to REM sleep. For those of you who don't know, REM, when you go through a state of REM, when you're in rest, it's usually the deepest part of your sleep. You're really tapped in. Your body is restoring and regenerating in its deepest form. And as far as where you are in your resting state, it is the deepest place, the most valuable part of your rest, some would argue. And so for me, this entire album was written at night. Every night, for those of you who don't know my process, I go to work all day. I come home. I tend to my wife and my son, who's 2.5. And I take care of all my responsibilities. And then typically by the time I wind down around 9 p.m., after I spent some time with my wife, I get right in the booth and I start recording or mixing or doing my artwork or my campaign rollouts. But then around 11 p.m., I hit the road, man. I get in my car and I go driving for about an hour, hour and a half every single night. I'm killing the gas tank and the mileage, but that's really my time to unwind, reflect, kind of offload a lot of the stress from the day, and also do my music. So I'm scouring the earth of thousands of beats just to figure out my new thing that speaks to me and think through what I want to do. You know, I've been making music for 15 years, so I've told people a lot. My biggest challenge is simply being inspired and having something to say. I felt like I've expressed myself in thousands of different ways about a lot of common topics that people like to discuss. And for me, it's more of an inspiration thing. From a creative standpoint, you know, I've made thousands of songs. And so getting inspired to do something new creatively from the musical standpoint is a challenge. But then also just talking about my life. My music is real autobiographical, is very emotional, high energy. And so tapping into that space requires me living a lot of life and then having things happen that allow me to care about something enough to want to talk about. So I'm not really in the space at my age at 31 to really just make music for fun and stuff. I always enjoy and have a great time when I make music, but typically if I pick up the mic and want to put something out, it's because there's something really on my heart to share that I feel like will encourage and inspire and push the envelope as far as things that you guys have never heard before. So again, the thing that might come to y'all's mind is, why did he name the album REM if he's up all night? which is a phenomenal question. The reason why I named this album REM is because for me, the deepest part of my day offloading is at night. And so even though I'm not literally sleeping, it's my deepest part of the night when I can just unwind and think through things. And it's almost like a rest, because when I'm going through my day, it's all fast paced and crazy. But when I'm in my car and it's silent outside and there's not a lot of people out there, I'm really able to rest and relax. And when I do my music and I offload my mind, it's the most relaxing feeling. And that's also when I think about the deepest things: my relationship with God, my role as a father, as a husband, as a friend, as a member of my community, as a Christian. These deep things that are hard to think through when you're working or you're dealing with family and your hobbies and stuff. This space for me is my REM, and that's a concept that I'm rolling with for this album. You'll notice the theme sonically, and I really just want to get into this because I feel like I've given y'all enough backstory that when you guys start to hear these tracks unfold and I'm talking about different things in my life and different concepts, I really think it'll come to life. So again, we got 13, 14 cats in here. Make sure you hit that like button, man. That thing should absolutely be at 13 by now, and we're going to go ahead and get cracking. So without further ado, remember, as I'm playing these, I'm going to mute my mic, and we're just going to go song by song. I'm going to come in and out. If y'all have any questions, let me know. And yo, strap up, man. This thing is absolute fire. If y'all need me to turn it up at all, just put it in the chat. I'm watching it as we're listening. But without further ado, guys, this is my brand new album dropping next week on all platforms, called REM by your boy Conscience.
Somebody out there up in the cloud, ain't on the law. With a high like this, you won't take me down, down. It ain't subliminal, yeah. The truth is so critical, yeah. The truth became flesh. Took a part on this miracle. I testify I'm a miracle. Ain't sugarcoating the spiritual. Ain't like a coat in the cold. You made the signs circle. Walking the dead man, right to left, heavy hand, hard heart, dead man, deadly plan. Hold me in your hand like I tempted to go no. I know you for so long, but I'm far from the end of the road. Still need to read and replenish the soul. I'm only 30, let child get old. Wanna give all of my life. Holding my son, praising the sun, yeah. Ooh. Got a soul, making my soul safe, yeah. We gon' praise his name till we old and gray.
All right, so that was the first record off the project called Thank Yous. And I'm not going to get super deep on these explanations because there's going to be a lot of content rolling out on how I made the songs and what I did. But basically, that intro song and the interlude, as y'all are going to see, are basically the only tracks on the project that just go straight through and are less musical in terms of like verse, chorus, bridge, and all that jazz. And that song was just to kind of get people in the vibe of what this album is about to be, which is, you know, musically very exotic, very euphoric, weighty topics, you know, stories about my life. And I really feel like the intro song is supposed to be extremely captivating. Not always supposed to be the most, you know, the single or the best record, but I always like to start off my album with a record that's just so left field where the attention span at that point is like, yo, what the heck is going to happen on the rest of this album? So that's my record. Thank Yous. Real quick, it's just about me thanking God of where he's gotten me. You'll notice as you age, you look back on your life and you remember the same stories and the same moments, but as you grow older, you see differently how God gives you a new perspective on things that you might not have fully understood that were going on. And so this song is like a thank you to God, but it's also a reflection like, dang, I can't believe how far I've come, and basically how much of a recipient of God's goodness that I am. Like, dang, God, really, this is just all you, and I'm just along for the ride, so thank you. And so I call it thank yous, plural, because it's a whole lot of thank yous. And yeah, man, so I really like the vibe that really sets the tone for this entire project. Remember, if y'all want to ask questions, feel free. I'm going to assume that we're good on the volume because ain't nobody talking about volume in there. And let's get into the next one, which is the most popular. Y'all know it's the song I've been pushing a whole lot. I played this for a lot of big producers, got a lot of amazing feedback. So without further ado, man, here's the next record off the project called Auto.
These conversations in my head, weighing on my shoulders on a ledge. It say, catch your feels on him and go to bed. Yeah. Ooh, got on vent. Ooh, I'm venting. Yeah, circulate, renew the mind state. Think about redemption. Ooh, yeah. How many roads? Too many signs, I can't read them. Wouldn't recognize the turn even if I seen it. Been driving all along, feel like I'm dreaming. Okay, about 160 came in, I got miles to the gallon. Seen a lot of challenge. Yeah, don't know I can balance. Maybe I can manage long enough to get by. Don't need all the answers, I don't read no manual. Probably why I panic, I just don't understand it. I swerve when I'm stranded, pretend I'm a mechanic, knowing I got damage. Can't show nobody, put new coats on my body. Bootleg Maserati, I hit another bump, it might expose what I'm hiding. So tell me, where do I go? Oh, well, maybe I should drive slow. Ooh. Got these conversations in my head, weighing on my shoulders on a ledge. It say, catch your feels on him and go to bed. Yeah. Ooh, got on vent. Ooh, I'm venting. Yeah, circulate, renew the mind state. Think about redemption. Ooh, yeah. There's something about accelerating. All in my lane, I push the pedal way in. I took the class, fell asleep through the demonstration. Woo. Just let me drive, yeah. Step aside, man. It's too rainy, but a thing, I've got alignments. And I'm excited, flesh behind these fine tints. Hey, I've been driving since about 9-6. God said redefine prints. Yeah, he's gotta redesign this. Yeah, surprised I've gotten this far in my sins. I had a light, but this where light ends. God, I'm venting, ooh, I'm venting. Yeah, mind state. Think about redemption. Ooh, yeah. Got these conversations in my head, weighing on my shoulders on a ledge. And say, cast your fears on him and go to bed. Yeah. Ooh, got a vent. Ooh, I'm venting. Yeah, circulate, renew the mind state. Think about redemption. Ooh, yeah. Got these conversations in my head.
All right, guys. So that was the front runner of the project, man. Auto is like one of my favorites. For those of y'all who didn't catch it, it's a song about cars and faith, and how when you try to, if faith is the car, and you're trying to steer faith on your own, and you don't realize that it's a gift from God, the car falls apart, man. Plain and simple. And so the whole record, I'm talking about what it's like to try and navigate faith on your own and by yourself. And that record is just very special to me. That was one of the first records I ever did for this album. And this track is going to have one of the illest music videos, period, to come out with it. So we're deciding on the second music video, which record it's going to be. I think it's going to be Maui, and it would be amazing if I could fly out to Maui to be out there and actually film all that, to make it not just conceptual but literal. But Auto's definitely on that list for a music video that's going to be coming real soon. So yeah, man, I just thought that album was, or that song was, a really dope illustration of, like, basically, yo, man, if you try to do this thing on your own, you're gonna crash and burn. And we all feel the weight and the tug of life, not only life circumstances, but how destructive we are on our own lives. We really are not made to be the guide or the reference point for why we're here, where we're going, and what we should be doing while we're here. And I've felt that many times, like, as somebody speaking on it, that it's personal, man. Like, I go through the tragedy of trying to do life on my own all the time. So yeah, man, I hope that record spoke to y'all. Again, man, I want to see some questions. Even though we got a Q&A at the very end, I want to see what's on y'all's mind, man. How y'all feeling about, we only 2 in? I want to see what y'all are talking about in here. Again, there's 17 people, 18 people in here. It's going to start to be the gold rush real soon here, because I just blasted this all over social. But we're going to start to have a lot more people in here. So flood the chat, man. Talk with everybody in here. A lot of y'all who are in here are real close family. Let people know that we're doing this, and let's keep it moving. Track 3 off the album is my wife's favorite. A couple of my homies, this is their go-to record. I'm not really going to explain what it's about till the very end, but this record is called Learn Love, off my brand new album Rem that drops next week.
Singing his love like an XO. Used to ride with dad on the metro. That was before I had Singing his life like a memo. Yeah. When I gave my life on a Venmo. Yeah. Hands stretched out like a limo. Make my heart beat like Timbo. What do we do for father's love? What do we do for father's hug? Thank God I am a mama. Cause God only knows. Thanking God, yeah. Thanking God, yeah. Thanking God, cause he made me love. Only God knows. Thanking God, yeah. Only God can bring this light to the world. Thanking God, yeah. Only God can bring this light to the world. La la la, la la la, la la la, yeah. La la la.
All right, man. That was Learn Love. So that record is super personal. It's weird because when I wrote it, I didn't realize how profound and how deeply emotional that record was for me. And I think that was because the beat was so bouncy while I was writing it. I was really kind of like really in the zone musically. But that song is about me not growing up with a father and how it was hard for me to learn what love was. My mom was like the greatest example of just God's mercy on me and love towards me because she was two parents to me. And so I was super grateful for that. There just was that love from a father didn't come till way later in my life. And so in a lot of ways that was actually a blessing because I think I pressed into God more because of that by his grace to just want to know what real love was and learn it in its fullness. So I talk about God's grace in my life, giving me my mom, and then ultimately pointing me to himself to know the full definition of love and the fullest example of love in Christ. And so, yeah, man, there's a lot of things going on in my mind on that song. And a lot of times when I'm expressing, I'm not always in an urge to create solutions and full synopses of how I'm feeling or where I'm feeling. I like to have clear messages and clear directions, but I like to leave those directions with a little bit of wiggle room for you to be able to experience and connect with it at an emotional level, and then be able to understand me, but at the same time identify and reflect on your own situation. And so if I'm always giving you a start, a middle, and an end, I'm not allowing you to do that, in my own opinion, as well as, you know, like my aim is. So that record is super fire. I really enjoy it. Bart, let me touch on that question real quick. Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to answer this specifically kind of where you're going with it, Bart. So just kind of elaborate on it if, you know, elaborate if I'm not fully hitting this. But, you know, being out on the street at night in my car, there was no real, like, literal connection to me in the song Auto. But, you know, for those of you who don't know, Bart asked, is there any kind of like connection, a literal connection between like me in my car and making the song Auto? I wouldn't say so. I think being that I was driving a lot, there might have been a connection as far as like, that's like a concept that I was very familiar with because I was out on the road every night driving. And so it was easy for me to come up with that type of concept. But really, once I had the concept of just like, man, you know, trying to stew up your own faith and maintain it and grow it on your own is like driving a car and it don't work out. That was kind of something I just went way off on and went into a whole different headspace for, especially since every single bar is a car reference or like a journey reference of being in a car or like a car mishap. Yeah, I had to tap in like a whole different headspace for that. So it's interesting because like I pretty much wrote that whole song in my sleep. um, Outside of being in the car once I had the concept, because for a lot of these topics I'm sitting with the music for so long, a month will go by, and by the time I've thought about my concept and I've messed with some cadences in the whip, by the time I go to actually record, and I don't write anymore. So now when I'm in the studio and I'm punching in and doing everything in the moment, like I don't even have time to really, not necessarily think, but I already know exactly what I want to say. It's just a creative expression at that point. So yeah, I hope that answers a little bit of that question. I'm going to be doing a car vlogging series soon, so you guys can see, because like a lot of you don't know, but I take my recording equipment with me in the car sometimes, and I'll actually record in the car my concepts, and then I'll render them out into MP3, listen to them for a long time, and then get like all these different cadences, and then I'll come into the studio and punch out. That's why I'm able to like not write, because I've isolated each of the parts of the process to song making. And so by the time I actually get in the booth, the song happens very quickly, unless I'm like hung up on a few lines and whatnot. But yeah, I don't even write anymore. We're going into the interlude, so buckle your seatbelts, man. Get some drinks, man, and let's keep this show on the road. By the way, somebody brought up an excellent point as well. If y'all want to like screenshot that y'all are watching, where you're watching from, and you know, share some clips of some of the music, feel free, man. Go on your TikTok, go on your Instagram, go on your Twitter, and blast out, man. Let the world know where you were tonight, man. So without further ado, here's my interlude called Alive.
See, the sun might go down, but the sun rose again. And it might just rain, but he rains. He rose, yeah. High road. Shoot. I was counting buckets sitting on the concrete. 1, 2, not too many friends, just a ball in the hoop. I was raised off a DD, hit game from the D-League. Them jobs my mama repeat. I want her to see me, treated God like a genie. Was my way to Fiji, found a living water, but it wasn't in the seaweed. Was 13 at the pool, crying in the back. Had a life full of sin, I ain't know how to act. But when Christ came, the light came, oh, that's a fact. Had that glow, had the toe, and there's no turning back. Oh, what a sweet day, can't forget it if I try. He knew it in my mind, see it different every time. You go and forget the time, you were dead, you were blind. Now I look up to the king like I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive.
So that was my record, Alive. And that was an interlude similar to the intro. It was the only, like I said, that one and the Thank Yous interlude are the only tracks that aren't as like formatted. And that was just a reflection on my testimony. I love doing records about my testimony because, like I said, man, as I age, I just get new ways to look back and see ways that God showed up that I didn't even notice. And I always like to reflect on my testimony because I don't think you graduate from your testimony. You know what I mean? Like the foundation of your life is that we were hopeless and apart from God, and he miraculously in his own mercy and grace saved us. And so that fact, we never graduate from that. That is the foundation and the launching point and the refreshing point at any stage of the life of a believer. And so I like going back to it with fresh eyes and not only giving thanks for it, but reflecting on it. So my homie Ruslan, he gave me the advice to think through while I was making that record to consider doing some narration. And I want to just touch on that a little bit, because the reason why I kind of let it play for a little bit and didn't narrate on the record is because in the climate of music that we're in now, music is shorter. And so a lot of that's because of algorithmic stuff as far as replay value, but that also comes back to just a lot of cats just picking up a mic, recording whatever's on their mind, and then producing a record. And so for me, I feel like when you narrate and you tell stories kind of on some like To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar type of vibe, once you've made your statements and made them known, you're in a non-musical space. And so once people kind of memorize and know where things are going, they tend to tune out. And so I didn't want to narrate at the very end, because I felt like if I just kept it musical, it would have a lot more replay value, because you don't got to sit there and be delayed by me throwing you off with a narrative that after about 3-4 times, it's just going to be redundant, and you're going to be bumping that song. And then when you get to that part where I'm narrating that you've already heard a bunch of times, you're just going to skip. So I wanted to keep it more musical, so it's just a vibe, so you could kind of hear my testimony but still be in that musical space, and you're more likely to run it back on the album and let it play through rather than that song be something that you skip. So that was a little bit of the reasoning behind that, and that was one of the last songs that I did on the project. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in, man. If you're liking what we're doing, again, we're only at 11 likes, so please feel free to share this, clip it with your cell phone, share it with your friends, and give this video a like. It really does help me out. And also, you'll notice I'm flashing my socials in between the songs, so I really want y'all to follow me on all those, because the content and the narrative for this album is really going to start ramping up pretty soon here. And remember, stay to the very end, because I have a free gift only to the people who attended. Nobody else will have access to it, and as well as the Q&A. So let's keep it going, man. We're making it through the middle of the album. This is my next record, Humility, off the new album Rem that drops next week.
Gotta keep my head right. Dead caught up in the headlights. Thoughts in my head, I keep them airtight. Just met my mans between a spare flight. Couldn't help but think I need a better life. With my ambition, don't despair in Christ. It's all day and it's a night. Mind games without a fair fight. What would you do up late night to make a move? If I get lucky, it'll suit you. Yeah. I'm calling, ooh. Don't wanna complain, yeah. I got everything and more, it's the game, yeah. But tell me if you're feeling the same, yeah. If I'm saying, yeah, oh. I gotta get my head right. I'm staring at these headlights, so quiet in the dead of night. I'm praying for a better life. In a prayer, I hope I said tonight. Repent from sin that got me terrified. Each one I leave attained is Fahrenheit. Gotta stay on point and keep it square like I chase a dream like it's a rare sight. Sometimes I lie, it's really, yeah, right. I get a chance and then I'm scared to fly. Black clouds, all of it dark, it's eerie. Blackout over this art sincerely. Maxed out all of my heart, come heal me. Be near me, yeah, yeah, ooh. Don't wanna complain, yeah. I got everything and more in His name, yeah. But tell me if you're feeling the same, yeah. The same, yeah, oh. I gotta get my head right. I'm staring at these headlights, so quiet in the dead of night. I'm praying for a better life.
right, man. So that was a record called Humility off the album. I kind of got a little emotional listening to that record. So that song is about balancing two realities that I deal with. And one is, I know that Jesus is enough. God is enough in my life, and he is the only source of eternal satisfaction that I have. And so if I'm not satisfied, I can rest and know that if I want to be, I can only be fully satisfied in him. Everything else has an expiration date, and it doesn't last. And so at the same time, I want to go somewhere in life, you know, as far as financially, I want to be a better father. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better person. And I have ambitions of wanting my definition of what success is temporarily on this earth. And so, did my mic just go out? Yo. Okay, cool. The wrestle is like, God, I know you're enough, and I want to pursue you. Trying to make sure that my mic is all Gucci. The conflict is, it's not really a conflict, but what you wrestle with is like, God, I want you to be enough, and I want you to know that I'm aware that my satisfaction is in you alone. Help me while I pursue these things to not rest in them or put a hope in them, and help me have a balanced perspective and not glorify and idolize these things above you or anywhere close to you. And so that's where my heart was on that. And so the song's called Humility because I want to pursue those things humbly with God at the center, and those just being an extension of his goodness to me that allows me to pursue these things with a loose grip. My mic was kind of breaking up, so please let me know if it's all good now. We're going to go ahead and move through this. For those of you who don't know, we do have merch coming out. This is one of my demos, my Conscience logo demo. Merch, and so later this year, probably in the second quarter, we're going to be releasing merch as well, and I'm super excited to put out all the different color waves. There's going to be exclusive color waves that are only available every 3 months, so each 3 months a new color wave is going to come out, and you will be one of like 10 people that has it if you order that piece of merch, and then we'll keep cycling through different color waves, so you always know you have like an exclusive color wave. Let's check the chat real quick. Appreciate the feedback, Isaac. I know a lot of y'all were loving the saxophone. Yeah, man. So yeah, I was kind of getting a little emotional on that song because it's like, I really am content with God. Like I don't need to be successful in all the different ways that the world pursues it, but man, as I see these things flee and be seasonal and different things like that, like I can't just help but look up and give it all to the Lord. But anyways, we're gonna move on, man. The next song is gonna be what do we got on the menu? Okay, we're on Cliche, so keep posting your questions, like the video, and let me know how y'all are feeling about it so far.
Playing like a DJ, worship on every day, courage like I need it. LA to BK, Polly with my sensei. Don't care what your friends say. Yeah. Christ, I'm on a chariot, righteousness I'm myriad. Sign, I'm in Aquarius, trials and the various. Trapped in this hysteria, I just need to carry up. Crisis and I'm various. Gotta hear the cliche, big body heaven bound. 20 on the freeway, cleansing so I'm ready now. Yeah, cleansing so I'm ready now. Come and get me. They think it's a cliche, playing like a DJ, worship on every play, courage like I need it. LA to BK, Polly with my sensei. Don't care what you I just want a sweepstakes, send a make a cremate, hypnotize a dream day, have you in a dream state, rocking out the Green Day, thinking that it's all good, plot just in the screenplay. You think I'm ashamed of it? They think it's a cliche, they think it's a cliche, playing like a DJ, worship on every play, courage like I need it, LA to BK, Polly with my sensei, don't care what your friends say, yeah, yeah. They think it's a cliche, think he relies on a new way, I put my life to a new name, cause it ain't the same, it be the cliche.
This is my jam. All right, man. So y'all just heard Cliche off the album. Look, man, we're already almost done, man. The party's already almost over. So Cliche is real simple, man. Like I've been noticing as I've been getting older and longer in the faith, like I've been getting so unashamed with my life and where I'm at with the Lord, and a lot of times I'm so unapologetic and God loving and God fearing that people think it's a gimmick. Like I'm to the point where I do not care how it comes off, how I look, not in some sort of like arrogant look at me way, but just in a, man, I love God, like, and I don't want it to offend you, but if it has to, like, I'm not trying to be, I'm just enjoying God, and so much so that I have to share it, and that's my aroma. And so this song was about points in my life where cats have just told me I'm, almost shocked at how gung-ho I am with my faith. And so I wanted to make an anthem to cats who love the Lord, to just unapologetically love the Lord. And so even to them, it's a cliche, but to me, this is real life. This is from the moment I wake up to when I go to sleep at night. I'm thinking about, to all things, to God, all things be the glory, man, forever. So I just want to make an anthem for the believers out there, man, to just unapologetically love the Lord, and watch how your life changes from that, and how it's impacted by that, and just how freeing it is to not have to imitate and look like things in the world, or like not look like the world, but kind of still feel like you got to come off cool or appealing. The pressure of that is just so exhausting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember being in high school and in college, and struggling with living a double lifestyle, and it was just so exhausting trying to keep up with the cool of the moment. And I'm so happy to say that, like, that's not as much a struggle for me anymore, and I've enjoyed the fruit of it, because for so long I doubted that I could really go hard for the Lord and love God publicly and feel joy from that, instead of like shame or embarrassment. So so let's get it in, man. I appreciate y'all on the likes. We're gonna wrap this up real soon here. We only got 2 more records left. The next record is Clash, and this is one of the most R&B records off the album. And this is a song about marriage and relationship. For those of you who aren't married, one of the biggest things that you'll struggle with in your marriage is being quick to anger with your spouse, and letting sin and the devil and your own flesh take over when you're in a fit of rage or pride, and paralyze you from being in a perfect union with your wife, and being in harmony, and pressing forward, and overlooking offenses, and sticking together, and loving your spouse more than yourself, and dying to self. Sin can be so paralyzing, and when we're angry and we're frustrated and we're prideful, it literally can be so paralyzing, and it's so foolish. It's it's goofy how it doesn't matter how old you are, when you're angry and when you're prideful, you just become a 3-year-old, and it's so easy for you to want to draw a line, divide from your spouse and divide from the person in your relationship, even divide from a friend, and just be in that space, that ignorant, that I don't even want to say naive, that ignorant, like self-inflicted space. And this song is like a petition to my wife and even to myself to like, hey man, let's reconcile quickly. Like we're not guaranteed tomorrow, and we're nothing when we're separate. Only when we're together in a perfect union does our life see real fruit. And are we really blessed? And are we living out the way that God wants us to be? So let's reconcile. So this is like my R&B record to my wife. I hope y'all can relate to it in some way if you've gone through a relationship. And I'm super excited to share this with you, man. So without further ado, here's my record, Clash, second to last off the album, man. Enjoy.
Soft words to heartache. Around 2, around 3. Short weeks and long days. You're so alone and you need space. But you leave in that moment when the heart hurts and you need a way to escape. Can I count on you? So confused, so many chances I refused. Gave me an out, I'm in my mood. God, come quick, I'm needing you.
All right, guys, that was Clash, one of my most R&B records off the whole album for sure, as y'all could see. And I was really experimenting almost with some Indian tribal type vibes with the hook. I really just kind of went in my bag. You know, it's funny. Excuse me. When I make songs about my wife, I used to, or just like about marriage or relationships, I used to be very descriptive and expressive. And on this song, I really wanted to communicate with a few words. And that's really symbolic because men, I think, but me especially, have an issue with over speaking and over clarifying and over explaining. And so I wanted, when I made this song, I said, what am I trying to say? And how can I say that as simply as possible? You know, cut out all the extra descriptive and this and that. That's why for the chorus, it's got like a very short chorus, and then I just go into the emotion of the song, because that's all that needed to be said. Can I count on you to be there for me? Can I count on you to carry me along? Can I count on you to carry me along? And it's like a chant for the both of us in our relationship. It's a call to like look past anger and pride and conflict. And so I wanted to keep it so simple. And I feel like hip hop's missing R&B. And a lot of the love songs that are out there are so bland and ABC, and they might be very creative, like sonically and expressively, but then the words are just lacking. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things I was thinking through on how I can make this song dope. But the number one thing is I wanted to simplify, strip all of the poetry out of it, and just let the words be what they are and articulate them with the emotional energy that I would have communicated with more words. I communicated with more melodies. So I felt like that was a really good song that probably I won't make a lot like that. It was a very special moment, a special type of consideration, and that's how I got to that song. To answer Berg's question in the chat earlier, how did I get my name? So when I was like 11, I went by the name WizKid, spelt with ones, W1ZK1D. And don't ask me how I got that. I just thought it was cool. And then one day I had a dream around 12 or 13 that I was playing in a pond and the word conscience appeared. And so nothing crazy about that other than it's kind of weird that happened. But I just like imagined myself seeing the word conscience. And I don't even think I used that word in my vocabulary at the time. But I went and looked it up and saw that one of the functions of a conscience is discerning and approving what's good and rejecting what's bad. And when you look biblically, what can happen is in our life, you'll recognize that sometimes we approve what's bad and we reject what's good. And so for me, that was symbolic in terms of how I picked the name, because I'm really just talking about my life and things that I observe and things that I experience from the lens of trying to affirm what's good and reject what's bad, and identifying and noticing when I do the opposite so that I can have a fresh new perspective the way God's said it should be. And so that's why life is a perfect conversation for that in my music. And I've been rocking with that name ever since I was like 13. So love the name. I got a lot of personal history with it, and that's how I got the name. So anyway, we're at the last song of the night. Remember, I got a gift coming up after Maui. I know we've been rocking for like an hour, so I'm going to really try to not talk as much. I know y'all got stuff to do on a Saturday. But this is the last record on the project called Maui. Stick around for the free gift and the explanation of like where you can get the album and everything. And we're going to wrap this thing up, guys. So this is the final. Thank you for rocking with me. I really, 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 really appreciate it. And ultimately, I do this to bring you value. You know, it's an expression, it's a therapy, it's something I enjoy doing, but I always have the listener in mind. I'm trying to build a bridge and connect with you and bring you value through my story. So thank you so much for being a part of that. And I really hope it brought you guys a ton of spiritual value and all kinds of value that you can carry on with you into your own life. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy the last song off our listening session. This is Maui. Yeah.
fog is surround me, surround me. Drip feel good, it ain't cloudy. Ring, ring, ring at the heaven, it ain't an Audi. Swimming in the middle of nowhere, but he found me. I can feel it soon as I touch down. Yeah, yeah, shine inside, outside, I ain't even got a bust down. Had me feeling like a kid. On 17, used to take a bus route. I ain't ever care in the world. Wake up every morning like, what now? It's a table for 10. I only buy 2. I won't bring my friends. Come follow the truth. The harvest is big. The followers few. The wage could be death. I'm talking to you. Faith like fog is surround me, surround me. Drip feel good, it ain't cloudy. Ring, ring, ring at the heaven, it ain't an Audi. Swimming in the middle of nowhere, but he found me. I know, no, no, I know. I know, I know. I know, no, no, no. I know, I know. I'm walking through the black sand. Yeah, I wanna see Hana. I have come too far, I can't go home. On a lavender road I go. I feel the breeze, I'm in the Hyatt. Ooh, I do southbound. Upgraded room, I'm moving out now. Honeymoon was late, we blew the house down. With every penny I do all it again. I wanna take it home. I took a trip up to Maui, to Maui. Drip feel good, it ain't cloudy. Ring, ring, ring at the heaven, it ain't an Audi. Swimming in the middle of nowhere, but he found me.
That song, bro. That song is so fire. Oh. Hey, man. Y'all made it, bro. Y'all made it. That's the end, man. We made it to the end. Now, I know what y'all are thinking, man. Yo, where is that gift? All right, so the gift that I'm going to give to y'all is one of the songs that never made the album. There's 3 records that never made the album, and one of them is called Trauma, and nobody else will have access to this. I've uploaded it on a private link on SoundCloud, and I'm going to share it right here. There we go. Yeah. So copy that link, and y'all will all have access to that unreleased song called Trauma. It didn't make the album for a lot of reasons, but I still think the song is absolute fire, and it's a high quality song, so you don't got to worry about none of that, man. It's definitely a record that can compete for sure. A lot of y'all might really feel like it should have made the album, but that's my way of just saying thank you to everybody who came out. Check the chat if you're not in it already. That's where I posted the link, but it's a private link, so only you'll have access to it along with the group guys in here. Please don't share it. Just keep it to yourselves. Because it's not actually publicly out, so I don't want to get in trouble for anything like that. It's literally just a free track that only you guys are going to get. And so, yo, you can always say you have a record from Conscience that nobody's heard before that ain't even out, just to show my appreciation, man. Yo, thank you guys so much. I do want to go through a couple of things just real quick. The album drops next week on Friday. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming out leading up to that release. Listen, every time you like a photo or comment on my Instagram or on my Twitter or on my Facebook page or on my TikTok, it goes a long way. I don't like talking about algorithm and things like that, but it is helpful when you guys interact and engage. Look, if this album spoke to you in any way at all and you guys want to support it, I want to explain very briefly how much $10 can go. The album's $10. It's the equivalent of you going and eating some fast food or getting a coffee for your week. you know, fourth of your gas, whatever. And what it does for me is it shows me that you're engaged and that it spoke to you and that I'm on the right track. But also, ultimately, it just supports. And all of my stuff that I make from my music goes straight back into the music. And hopefully one day the music and what I've got going moves into a space where I can provide value for more people. You know, I mean, what's the deal if you're receiving all this value and you feel like this is life-changing and this is good and it's quality, but you never share it with anybody? You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of the reason why I became an artist, because it was like I liked making music for myself and making music that I felt like wasn't out there. But when I started to share it with people, that's when it really started to take root and have personality and character. So when I make music, I see faces. I see people who I want to connect with and people who I want to give more value and build a relationship with. So when the album drops, if y'all cop it and y'all buy it, that would be absolutely phenomenal. And let me know that you did, man, because I'm trying to bring a lot of value and more exclusive value to people who are really kind of supporting me and whatnot. But I also like to make my stuff available on the streaming platforms so that everybody can enjoy it for the most part for free. So I just want to give that little spiel, man. Every little like, every little comment, every little engagement, though it might only seem like 1 minute of your time or a little bit of your money for buying the album or whatever, just know it goes a very long way. And it ain't the same as spending a $10 on a coffee, because that's like temporary satisfaction. But when you sow into what I got going, it's going to be something that goes for days and goes for weeks and goes for years that you can tap into, and most of it's going to be free. So I really appreciate all you guys listening. We're going to open it up very briefly for a Q&A. Just judging by the chat, I don't see a whole lot more questions. I'm going to look through these real quick to see what I may have missed. Yo, since I got 15 cats in here left, appreciate you for rocking with me. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And I'm going to just look through these real quick to see if there's any questions I need to answer. I see a lot of y'all were really feeling Maui, so I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much again. Shout outs to Berg, shout outs to Kunle, Trutha, Junior Foster, Wheeze, Dirty, Jeriel, Verse, Isaac, Bart. Yo guys, I think that's everybody. Canvas, Ruslan, Canvas's wife. Thank both of y'all for tapping in. Love y'all, man. Emmanuel, DJ. Thank you guys so much for tapping in. Bart had a quick question about trauma. Trauma is just talking about how much trauma that you experience when you have sin in your own life and you see sin unfold in other people's lives, and the weight that burden and that weight that you carry as you try to process and heal through that. And so I'm just being very expressive and testimonial to talk about some of the things that have gone on in my life, my brother, my family, my own life. Sin's deep, man, and sin sucks. And that's why the gospel is so powerful. So I think when we talk about our traumas, but then we reflect our lives in a way that shows a pursuit of God and in a sincere understanding for his word, you can be healed from trauma. And the story just doesn't stop at the depression, stop at the hurt, stop at the death, but it actually has an even greater story, which is the resurrection of Christ and the resurrection of a wholeness of life that we all can experience by his grace. So that's a little bit of the story behind trauma. This project was produced by multiple cats. I think there's about 8 producers on the project. So shout outs to all of them. Shout outs to the photographer, my boy Shane, who shot all the photography for the album art. All that'll be rolling out as well. There were a lot of people that inspired me for this project. Thanks to all the artists out there, all the people who gave me a shot, who talked with me many a night. Really everybody inspires me in some way, shape, or form. And so the more you interact with me, the more you can figure out just the gravity of like what you guys mean to me. I did engineer the whole project. I mixed and I got my mastering done third party, but initially I was mastering all of my music. But whenever I do albums, when it comes to volume matching and things like that, I outsource. So the track list, I'm gonna save that for next week because it's another piece of content that I really want to get into. But the way I make a track list for an album is very unique. So just stay tuned for that. I don't want to answer that on here. I'm sorry, Verse. You can call me if you really want to figure that out. Any cats on my mind when I wrote it? Everybody, man. I mean, if you listen to the songs, they're very personal. So I thought about myself. I thought about a lot of my family, a lot of my friends. Most of the songs are written from my lens or through the lens of my friends or family. But I didn't think of any other artists other than the lead singer, Helen, from Sade. I really love what she does from a minimalist standpoint with her singing and just how much emotion she's able to grab. So that was one artist I thought of that I was really inspired by when I was making this album. But really, there were no artists that came to my mind. I really had to be in a special headspace to create this, since it was something I'm not normally used to doing. Favorite personal track on the record, probably right now it's Maui. But I definitely have to say that probably Auto or Humility. I mean, every song's like a baby to me, man, for different reasons. Like, I love Auto because I feel like it encapsulates, like, if that's even a word. But I feel like that is a perfect representation of the whole album. Learn Love's very personal about fatherhood. Humility really speaks to me because, you know, I struggle with that a lot, especially in a season where I'm seeing a lot of success. Cliche, I go through that all the time as I publicly kind of pour out my faith. Clash is really personal to me because it's about my wife and I, so whenever I hear it, I just get really tight about it. Maui is just like one of my more universal tracks. I feel like a lot of people can connect with it, and I feel like I did something on that record that not a lot of people have done. So, you know, everything's really... I never really make a song or put a song out that I feel like is filler to me personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might be filler to somebody else, but if I feel like a song's filler, it will not make the album, ever. I'd rather give you less but heavy quality than to give you guys something that I feel like's lackluster or wasn't a great representation of my expression. You know, art can be very subjective, but my intent as far as what I do going into an album is to provide you guys with absolutely no filler. So if I feel like the synergy and the chemistry on the music doesn't make as much sense standing next to the rest of my body of work on the project, it will not go out. Let's see. Oh, what was I sipping on? So I was sipping on Bartholomew Jones and his Coffee Black campaign. I was sipping on that Gucci main. Make sure y'all go out, coffeeblack.com. Coffee is spelled with an X, CXFFEE, black.com. Get yourself some merch. Get that dope new Coffee Black album that I had the pleasure of engineering on. It's absolutely bonkers. But yeah, I'm sipping that Gucci main, man. That's all we're sipping nowadays. Straight up. I was also sipping on some lemon ginger tea. That's like my go-to. Let's see. So yeah, man, we're gonna wrap this up, guys. Again, follow me on social, like the video. Thank you guys so much for tapping in. I hope you enjoy that record.